Marines. Thank you very much, Freak. 5 teams at 2 and 3. I mean, what more could we ask for in terms of setting the table for the second round robin to really determine things?
I would like SKT to be 3 and 3. Then everyone could
You're
be
right.
3 and
Okay.
3.
All right. You're right.
But
We could have asked for a little bit
awesome,
more.
right?
It is. It is absolutely awesome. And here's the big thing, right? We had asked out of Gigabytes. We know that you can build early leads. We want to see you close one. Kobe said it there. Complete and utter domination here over the Chinese squad.
And I really just want to point out like 2 key plays that were just absolutely perfect from Gigabyte Marines, where they had failed in the past. They approach for that mid-inhib, and they don't overreach for the Nexus. Before, Gigabyte Marines would overreach, they'd get punished by the spawns, and then WE would walk it back to Baron. And then they go for the Nexus towers. They take that one, like, this is it for us. We've learned our lesson. This looks like TSM, and they back out. You can see the growth there, and that's what's super exciting about this.
And a lot of teams here haven't really made adjustments day on day, and it's great and encouraging to see that one of these teams from a more developing region, from a region that's really starting to ply their trade at the highest level, is able to do that. So that's why it's a really cool thing, and now we get this big amount of parity. And if we saw Gigabyte Marines lose here, I think everyone would have the same storyline. Well, in the second round robin, they'll just be playing spoiler. Well, guess what? They're playing spoiler on being top 4 because they could certainly still be right up there.
They're absolutely playing to win, and it definitely feels like SKT is playing their game here. The only other team that's really playing to their level is the Gigabyte Marines. We forget that this is their 20th game at MSI. That's an entire split back in the day for a lot of teams in the LCSs. So they are so comfortable on stage and so ready to play their game. And at this point, everyone's saying, when are they going to adapt to the Marines? But they're forgetting the Marines are also adapting their own game. They're adding things to their champion pool. Lulu mid, Galio top. They continue to improve.
And speaking of adapting, Team WE should already be used to this. Like, hello, that was an LPL game in a nutshell. They play these teams all the time, and they just got run over.
Absolutely. Well, let's kind of walk it back to the beginning now. Let's take a look at the early game put together by the Gigabyte Marines. I mean, again, no surprise that they get off to a fast start here. Kills in the 2v2.
I mean, this is just 2v2 misplay, you'd have to say. First of all, the use of exhaust on the side of WE onto a support, and then, of course, predictably, the aggression comes through the Gigabyte Marines, and then Condi just getting aggressive.
But these are 2 classic things that have plagued WE for the longest time. A, Mystic does not play a lot of Twitch. He hovered the Caitlyn initially in the draft phase.
2 Korea games, both losses.
Exactly. It hasn't been seen 2017 at all from him. And then Condi making aggressive invades without having the proper vision. But I know that this is negative on WE. Just look at Levi and look at Stark. They played so well this game.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll have plenty to say about what Team WE could have done better. We didn't like their draft phase. I don't think the Ziggs ban was worth giving over Lulu. I don't think the Shen was a good pick over Grox. There's a lot of stuff we can say, but you do have to give props to the Gigabyte Marines because they have been the best early game team in the MSI group stage. That's now 5 games in a row they've gotten first blood and gotten a lead.
Yeah, you just want to appreciate it, right? Like, take a breath, take it all in, because they don't let you breathe during the game themselves, and so you kind of have to take a moment to internalize it all. But once again, you talk about growth, right? Not overextending, then giving the opportunity for WE to get back in with Barons. They also show composure around the Baron themselves. Let's revisit that Baron call. It was that sealed the deal, a clean objective, follow-up ace, brought to you by
You have to watch Stark here, who's on the ground. That might be a question mark, but the fact that he leads with the barrel and is there to interrupt with the body slam. I cast the LCK, the best league in the world, and at least half our teams cannot pull off Barons as clean as this. They often make mistakes. We see MVP trading Barons against the flow of the games, game after game, week after week. To see such clean Baron takes from a team that often needs Baron to close with the comps that the Gigabyte Marines likes to pick up is really cool to see.
Yeah, also have to shout out Levi. Tremendous jungler against some of the best junglers from other regions as well. 14 kills on this Kha'Zix, the most we've seen at the 2017 MSI group stage so far.
Jack, I've got a sale for you. How about this idea? TSM Levi, wouldn't that be hype?
I'll talk to my people.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of yourself. Let's close out this tournament first. And hey, maybe at this point he's going to want to stick in that region and go as that pool 1 seed if they're able to achieve it. Real quickly, though, I do want to talk about, as Kobe mentioned, every member of this squad stepping up, because we've always talked about Levi. We've talked about Optimus in the mid lane. But let's look at the AD carry. Slay on Ashe, being a frontliner at times in some of those fights, right? Being aggressive and taking
He was doing a Prey cosplay a couple of times. We saw so much heroics from Prey going aggressive at Worlds. And the arrows, like you say as well, it was the full package on the Ashe for sure.
Some of it just comical, but always working out in their favor. Final thoughts here, Jad, as we get ready for an interview?
Yeah, calling out Stark a little bit because everyone always bans his Kennen, and people are infuriated the fact that he keeps getting Gragas. But at the same time, we talk about shielding support bans, jungle bans. If you're throwing 2 bans at a top laner every single game, who's getting 2 top lane bans every single game from around the world? He's performing on Gragas for sure. Still want you to throw 2 top lane bans at him, but you have to call out his impressive play on Gragas.
Absolutely, and while it was impressive play, we've said our piece, and now it's time to head downstairs where Shox is joined by the King of the North, right on side of the Rift.